Hello, right. So today on Mental Health Anonymous, we're joined with one of our newest moderators, Ohso. There's a lad that I used to serve with in the army back in early 2000s. Went to Iraq with him as well. You were my lance corporal. You were my boss.
I was.
And what was it called? Basra Water.
Now PWCC, so pipe 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 no PL pipeline repair coordination cell.
That's why you're more switched on than me, because I've always known it as Basra Water. That's all I can remember it as. Basra Water.
We used to have to go around and interview all the locals to repair the water supply coming into Basra. So basically, when we got there, no water was going into Iraq, and when we left, Ian, I think it was 1 million liters a day was coming into the locals, and that's not including the tankers that we went to Kuwait to pick up. If you remember.
Yeah, I remember all that. Yeah, geez, oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, my memory is shocking. But see, when people start, when you're talking to people, yeah, I mean, we haven't seen each other for 15 odd years, and then picks up the phone a couple of days ago, and
yeah, like it's normal.
It's normal. Crazy, isn't it? That's just the whole military thing. I think it's just crazy. The amount of blokes that I've just literally got back in contact with. And it's not even cheeky to ask favors and stuff like that. Like, one of our friends we were chatting about then asked me for a favor a couple of years back now, and about 2 days later I was out camping with him in Wales. And
well, what I think it is, it's that network of, we are thrown into a network of both females and males, but you're living together and working together. You've trained together. Then when you go on tour, you're together always. But then suddenly you do your 4 years, 5 years, you get picked up, bang, straight into another unit where you've got to do it all again. Mm-hmm. So it's that case of, okay, I can come straight into there, bang. Okay, mate, I'm Ohso. What do you want me to do? Blah blah blah. So it's that situation where you put into that area. So you learn to meet people, and then again you might go into another unit where your mate from 2 units ago was there, and you're like, all right, buddy, how are you doing? Crazy. So again, when you come out 15 years later, we're chatting, and it's like, all right, mate, like it was
just pure natural, isn't it? There's no effort whatsoever. And it's what I find as well, like I listen to TalkSport a lot, right? Obviously in my truck and stuff, and they talk a lot about mental health and stuff like that as well in sports personalities. And
massive.
I find it is massive, mate. And I think there's a real similarity from us military and getting out. And I think it's that whole concept of, when you're in the military, it is, for the most part, go, go, go. You're always doing something. There's always training. There's only them odd months where you are just stuck in the hangars and stuff like that. But it is go, go, go. There's that real camaraderie. Everybody's together. Everybody's got the same mindset. And then all of a sudden, one day, either you choose to, or your time's up, but you're out and you're on your own. You're literally on your own. All your mates are spread all over the UK. And, I'm not asking for any cuddles or anything like that, like any sympathy, but I've got no mates around here.
I'll give you a cuddle, mate. I'll give you a cuddle.
Little virtual cuddle. But do you know what I mean? It is sad. And I think that's where a lot of veterans like struggle, mate, because it's lonely. And you've got, all right, you might have your wife and kids and stuff like that, but there's no same mentality, is there?
It's different, yeah. So obviously with your wife and kids, you can have that banter with them, but it's not the banter. So it's like, you can't
chuck out limits.
You can't chuck out the C-bomb halfway through like conversation with your wife or whatever. Yeah. Well, I can, because my missus is ex-military. So the banter there is awesome. And she's ex-Navy. So Navy police. Come on.
What are you doing? What happened?
I know. Yeah.
But that's it. I mean,
I'll leave that one there. Yeah, so obviously with your kids and stuff, I don't know whether it's also when you got kids and a missus, and obviously we're used to an environment where everything's disciplined, bang, 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 do this, and they do it.
It gets done.
When you're at home, like, can you sort the washing out, blah, blah. I'm not just using that as a stereotypical women thing, or I'm just saying, for example, can you do that? I'm just doing this.
But your missus does all the washing and that?
No.
Oh, no, I get made to do that, mate.
No.
She absolutely drops me.
No.
Right.
No, but I know
again,
like, like I say with the kids as well. And it's like, I think that's where a lot of mental health comes from with military, like leaving, is when they come back to the home environment, they're with them 24/7. And then the kids are going, you're going like, kids, do your bedroom. No. And then they're on the phone. It'll like,
I'll give you an example, mate. Like I got out, went into my first little company, and I was stood down. There was three drivers stood down for the day. We didn't have any work, and we're floating around. And then the boss comes in about 8:30. We've been in since 4 a.m, like just thumbs up a bum's light. And I felt that proactiveness now. Do you know what I mean? I felt like, well, let's wash some trucks, or let's do something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, just
as
chill,
you would in the hangar.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And they were like, just chill. So the boss comes in at 8:30 and he's like, right, lads, I need them trucks washing down. And in my head, I was thinking, see, if we'd have done that, we wouldn't be doing it now, would we? We'd be able to actually chill. And they were like, yeah, not a problem. He goes, yeah, so I need that truck, and that truck done. There's 3 of yous, 3 trucks. Right, sound happy days. So I walks out in the direction of trucks. The other 2 lads, no, they're in the mid-50s. Like, they just snuggled off into the cafeteria thing. Like, and I was like, what's going on here? Someone in and goes, clean these trucks. Yeah, come on. I will do it in a minute. But it needs doing. We've just been told to do it. And they're like, Endo, sit down. We're going to teach you Civvie Street.
Oh, mate.
Yeah,
Same thing happened to me years and years and years ago. When I first got out of the military, I was in a good place in Cornwall. I was fitting kitchens, £1,000 a week, wicked. I was earning a lot of money. And then I took a massive pay cut to go and get me Corgi, me gas safe, which was a Corgi engineer then. So I moved from Cornwall to Northampton, and I was on no money at all, but I had a mortgage up in Yorkshire. I had rent to pay down in Northampton and all this. But so I was trying to do work outside of that work. So I'll do a full day's work, and then I was registered to all the agencies around in Northampton, and they were making me like unload the white company lorries and stuff. But I'd get there, and this lorry would come in, and I'm like, come here, and these blokes are like, mate, what you doing? And I'm like, just doing my job, mate. I'm just trying to unload this lorry. And they were like, mate, slow down. We normally have about 3 or 4 fag breaks in between like unloading this lorry. So you've practically unloaded this lorry on your own. You're making this look bad. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm just doing my job, mate. I have a fag break at the end. And same thing. I just couldn't get it in my head why that wasn't my belly or anything. That was my dishwasher just making a noise. But yeah, I just couldn't get my head around it. Why they wouldn't want to just get it done and then have a bit of chill out time after? Why prolong it? But again, that's what's hammered into us at such a young age.
Yeah.
With the military. So
it is massively. I used to like, especially when I was when somebody actually gave me some responsibility over blokes. I used to be like that all the time. Get in the morning, I'd be like, right, here's a list of jobs you have to get smashed out, get them done, and the rest of the days yourselves. Like, and they would batter it out, and they would do it to a decent standard as well. Whereas on this side, it's all slow down, man, chill. There's no rush. I still can't. It's that recalibration we were chatting in earlier conversations about, mate. I still struggle with the recalibration, but
100%. I mean, I've been out since 2008. Is it 2008? With an injury, as we spoke about. But I'm still trying to get my head around the civvie life. I don't think I ever will get my head around the civvie life, where they'll get to work and have a brew, or they'll pick a coffee up on the way.
Oh, lost you there.
This does mess with my head because I'm thinking.
Lost you there, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate. You got me? You got me back?
Yeah, got you.
Where did I get to?
You said having brews and that when they come in and have
So basically, so they'll pick up a Starbucks coffee, get there, and then make another brew when they get there. So rather than having a brew and then hitting the day when you get there, it just didn't compute in my head, and it still doesn't, and it does mess with my head today. Today, so it's like I'm trying to get a job done. Come on, let's get bang, 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 bang. I want to get this done today, and then the delivery driver's like, "Yeah, mate, I'm going to be another hour. I'm just going to do some bits." And I'm like, "Mate, I need to get this stuff here on site." Blah, blah, blah. And it's.
Do you reckon like when? I mean, I got out in different circumstances. So basically, I went up to Leckensfield, done this tanker course, spoke to a civilian tanker driver who was up there just evaluating the course, making sure it was getting run properly. So I was speaking to him, and he told me what the potential earnings are, and I was just like, see ya, I'm gone. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm out. So I was out the army within 6 weeks, which doesn't really say a lot for me, was it? But I was out the army in 6 weeks, and I can't really compare it, because I think the army could do more for blokes getting out. I know there's this whole right, yeah, cool. Apologies
Mate,
about that.
mate, that
You there?
yeah, it happened again,
Yeah,
then, mate. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was saying, like, yeah, that was my internet, mate. Apologies about that. But the when I got out the army, it was under different circumstances, mate. So I was literally out the army within 6 weeks, because I got a job offer and all the rest, and I had proof, and it was better earnings and better for the family. Sold them all that, and my OC at the time, fair play, and bang on, got me out. But so I never went through that whole 12-month of leaving the army. I don't know if that's still the same, but when you sign off, you've got 12 months then in the army. You've got resettlement and all this stuff. But I think the army is good at trying to set you up for civvy street. So with the resettlement courses and that, you can do. I've heard some horror stories though from some blokes saying, like, no, that they've been made sitting in G10s, that's stores, made sat in stores, rather than getting pumped out and doing all these courses to help them and get out. But it swings and roundabouts with that. But mentally, I don't think the army prepares you for a civvy street at all, especially from guys like myself that have I've got brought up in the army. My dad was in the army, and then I literally had 2 years in civvy street, and it wasn't even civvy street. I was cleaning kitchens in a military camp, and then boom, straight into the army. I never knew nothing different. And civvy street is a shock, massive shock to the system.
Yeah, same, mate. So I joined up at a very, very early age, so 16. But I left a life I didn't want to be in. So I was in a gang and all this growing up. So I left that life. So I was, collecting drug money at 14 with a mate of mine from school and stuff like that. So it was like, so I joined the military, but then obviously injury. I had an ankle reconstruction. I don't know if you remember that, but I think it was 2004. I had a knee operation.
Yeah.
And then we went back out to Iraq. And I think that's when you joined me in Iraq then. But then when we came back, so it was in 2006, I had an ankle reconstruction. I don't know if you remember, I was wheelchair bound, and then I was on crutches. And again, the brotherhood we had, where Kenny Sampson, he used to give me a piggyback to the pub, and I left my crutches in the taxi by accident, so he had to take me around all night on his back.
Yeah.
But again, when I came out, mate, so basically they were good to me because I wasn't coming out with any animosity with the military. I love the military. I still love the military. It is literally cut me in half, and I've got Royal Engineers going through my core. So with me, it was a case of I don't want to go out, but I love the military, but I'm being forced to leave. So they put me in a job role in Ripon as a recruiting team NCO.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed that because again, I wasn't getting out because I hated the military. So I went around all these schools. I'm like, yeah, I love it. Bang, bang, bang. And they let me do that. So because I was trying to get my Corgi gas. So I was getting time off for the resettlement. And then because I was local to where I lived in Ripon, I lived in Huddersfield. It was just, it's worked for me. So it worked in my favor. But like you said, I've heard some really bad stories of blokes getting just shat on basically.
Yeah.
And again, it's these people like I was really, they were massively military, and they just see people leaving as a weakness. And again, that's what we get brought up with. You probably got brought up with it when you went through that weakness. It's like, right, let's chin these guys off because they don't have what it takes. And again, this can affect people massively mental health wise. I used to hate that bullying culture in the military, like that, where you get a bit of a mon, and they just put him in, like you say, the stores, or just didn't want him around because they weren't like you. And I just didn't like that culture, and it was massive when I went through.
Yeah, it is. There's definitely there's definitely a clique in the army. Like, I remember like I done the recruitment thing as well up in Scotland, and I just loved it. The best year of my
Yeah,
life
yeah.
up there. Absolutely outstanding.
Chatting all the
Yeah, so,
teachers up.
oh, mate, yeah. I just got divorced as well, like so they sent me up there, and I was like, winner, happy days. That's yeah, so definitely, that was some yeah, rehabilitated myself anyway, mate. But there, went up there, and then I remember I went to Chatham. I think I went to Chatham before, and I was a cuddly care call. You know, I was duty of care NCO
Oh, work on. Yeah.
there. So I went there, and this is I think this is when I first started learning about mental health. I never really knew what it was, didn't really care, to be honest. And like you said, well, on a different subject, I thought it was a weakness, mate. I really did. Whenever I thought people were like, oh, you know, a bit down and stuff, them words, get a grip, sort your life out, all that
Man
kind of
up.
stuff. Man up, take your MTFU pills, all the rest of it. And,
Yeah.
you know, to an extent, some of that is relevant to some people. Like I said to you yesterday, it helped me out. People telling me to get a grip and stuff like that. But a different subject. But I was in charge of one bloke, well, one troop, plant troop, and I remember I got told about this one young lad just to keep an eye on him. He's been in the office, and he said he's not coping well. And in my head, I was just like, "What do you mean not coping? What is he weak? Should he be here?" And do you know what I mean? I was like, "What all this?" And they said, "Oh, just after parades and stuff, just have a little chat with him and find out how he is." I'm like, "What? Chat him up? What do you want me? What? You know?" I just didn't get. So after parades night, I used to be like, "Oh, where are you? Like, come and have a little walk." And I just walk around the block with him but I'd be walking around the block with him going, "So what's up with you?"
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Oh, I just feel a bit down." I'm like, "Oh, fag bot, pick that up." Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I just
no sympathy whatsoever there.
Nothing,
no
mate. And
empathy.
there was one weekend I got told to check up on him every other hour throughout the whole night in his room.
Suicide watch.
And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And they were like, "Well, no, you need. It's your job. Like that's part of your job description, and you need to go check." And I was like, "I've got plans," and that was my priority. I had plans, and it wasn't until I went round and I knocked on this guy's door, and I instantly felt sorry for him. He opened the door, and you just tell he was been crying and stuff, and I was like, "Why not on the piss with all the lads, mate?" He was like, "No, I was a full screw, so calling a sapper mate in a training establishment. It's like I suppose it's a friendly approach, isn't it?" So he was like,
yeah.
I never realised I'd done it. I just instantly felt sorry for the bloke. And he was like, "Oh, I don't really get on with people." Went, "But have you tried? Because you're always on your own. I've never seen you try." And he was like, "No, I just prefer to be on my own." And I looked in his room, and I went, and he was painting loads of Airfix models and stuff like that. And I'm into that. I do like that kind of stuff. I haven't done it yet. I do. Yeah. So I went, "Oh, which one's that?" And he was like, "Oh, it's a new Tornado GR7, blah, blah, shmee, blah, blah, blah." And he went on and on. I was like, "Well, you know your stuff, mate. You should have been an RAF pilot, shouldn't you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I should have." I went, "Now come in." He went, "Yeah, if you want." I went, "I'll tell you what, I'll go and get some beers. I'll get a pizza. I'll come in and me and you'll just smash these models out." And he was like, "Oh," and then I walked away thinking, "This is real. Like, see all this? This is real." So I went away, got the pizza, like, came back in, and he was sat there, and we just sat. And the lad was sound as fuck. So he was such a nice bloke, and I had this whole different perception of him because he liked keeping himself to himself, but it's only because in his head he didn't fit in. And I know where he's coming from now. I do know where he's coming from, and I was like, "Dude, just try and fit in." I was next weekend, I'm off, and you're not really allowed to do this in places like Chapman. I goes, "I'm off. You're cutting around. I'll tell you what, me and you'll go out in the piss, right? And we'll get in with some lads and stuff." And then he did, and he started mingling, and he was totally fine. And I think he just needed that a cuddle, basically. He just needed to know that he was worthy, and he does deserve to be here, and he's achieved. And actually, he was probably one of the better students. He's achieved just the same as what everybody else has that deserves to be there as well. But he never put himself in that category. He always put himself in a different category, which I know exactly where he's coming from now. So
yeah, I mean, because I've never had that problem, as you probably remember. But I was even as a kid, mate, I used to fit in with everybody. I'm sort of like what they're called, chameleon, where you just like you can change round situations. Like, so when you guys come in, I'm like, boom. When these crazy cats used to come in, boom. These, I'm like, oh, that could be serious. I can change myself around these situations, but I can also see that. And I don't remember if you can remember when lads used to first come to Germany. I used to take them on to the bar. So I used to go right in the bar, and but I'd look after them. Where most people are like, oh, get them engineered, which is a top shelf for the pickled egg, and make them that. And then I used to make them sick. So if people used to do that, I used to keep an eye on the lads, and I used to make them sick, fingers down their throats, blah blah blah. And I used to look after them. And then, but that was a big thing of mine. I don't know if you remember, where I didn't like lads sitting in their rooms by themselves.
Yeah.
Because again, you're not getting out there. You're not throwing yourself into uncomfort zones. You're going to be in that uncomfort zone all your life. Oh,
yeah. So I was that lad. I was that quiet, recluse, grey man, and it did take me a while because especially when I got married and then divorced and then back in the block, I did, and it took a couple of my mates to grab me again and get me back into that environment of door open policy, get out and mingle and just be with the rest of the lads and stuff. But then when I got out the army, that had gone. I can't leave my front door open, mate, especially where I used to live. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no chapping on your door. What you up to, Indo? What you doing? Don't get us wrong. I've got quite a few mates that live within 20-mile radius around here. Like and I'm looking forward. One of them's a diver. He comes and goes. Like I'm looking forward to him getting back here this week. Just at this age, we're not hitting clubs and all that kind of stuff anymore. Do you know what I mean? But it's weird when you go in clubs these days. Anyway, everybody.
Mate.
Like, what's she doing?
Yeah, what's that old fucker doing in here?
Yeah, what's that bald weird freak doing in here? Shut up. It's so it's more barbecue-y drinks around the house these days, but it's that bothering with each other that helps as well. Do you know what I mean? It's massive, mate. So what's the score with yourself now? Then you've got a couple of companies going on the go, haven't you?
Yeah, so like I said to you, when I first got out of the military, I went down to Cornwall. I was fitting kitchens for a local company. I've always been self-employed. I've never been employed, and whether that's been a good thing for me, because obviously coming out of the military, I mean, I wasn't great to lead anyway because I always had an opinion, and I was probably the best soldier around. I would do exactly what he told, but I'd be like, I'm going to change it and do it like this. So it was always my little take on things. So I've always never been employed. So I was self-employed down in Cornwall, and then, like I said, I went to Northampton to get my corgi and my gas safe. And basically, my trouble started from there. And I didn't know. I haven't really known until recently, really. Well, I say that my trouble started in the military when I first got injured. So I had an ankle reconstruction, and they put me in a desk job. I was RSM's clerk, writing orders and disciplining lads for things that I've done the night before. And I don't know if you remember, but I used to make lads Brasso a plaque, the HQ plaque outside my office.
I think you had me doing it once, mate.
I just didn't know. I just didn't want else. I didn't want to thrash anybody. So I was like, here goes a pot of Brasso. But I even ended up doing it myself when staff at Tozer. I went on the piss and I didn't come into work. It was on rear party, and I got woken up. Like you said, the open door policy. No one used to lock the doors, but I got woken up with an iron spray in my face. And I was like, fuck off. And it was Nick going, all right, Ohso, late for work, are we? And so I ended up doing the Brasso myself, and everyone was laughing at me. And so anyway, so my issue started there, really. But I didn't know, like you said, I didn't know anything about mental health. For me, it was school, military, and that was it. Bang. I grew up in a very hard childhood as well, where I had parents which were very strict. I grew up in that area, so I always had the discipline, blah 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 blah. And then when you get out, it sort of goes away, and you're like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I loved it to start off with, but anyway, came up to Northampton, blah blah blah. Minimal money. I started a business. And I was working on the commercial side, as the Georges, B&Qs, with a lad I used to be in the military with. I won't mention his name, but we had a little bit of a fallout over money, and again, mate, he was getting people in to work for us who just didn't have a clue what they were doing. And to me, it just didn't compute in my head that they were messing up and we were snagging, and I just didn't like it. And so I left that side and I went down into London and helped out 2 ex-Marine officers start a company called Handy Heroes. Great blokes. But again, we sort of clashed because I'm a professional builder. They didn't have a building knowledge, but they were great at the paperwork, blah, 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 getting it out. And again, it was in my head, it just didn't compute. Nothing flowed. So I left them on good terms. They're still going great. Glad I was a part of it. Then I started a company called We Were Soldiers Construction, which is still going very well. Then I started a company called We Were Soldiers Cleaning Company. And now I've got a new venture, which is We Were Soldiers Property Investment. So I'm going to go into property, flipping property and stuff like that. So I went on a course. But anyway, it started off, like I say, from initially, I didn't know I had PTSD. So my anger was horrendous. And I do feel sorry. I've only had 2 girlfriends previously to my missus now, because I was a singly through and through. Horrible singly, lived in the bar. But as you probably know, so basically the 2 girlfriends I had previously, I do feel really sorry for them because I wasn't diagnosed then, and the way I treated them is ridiculous. It was horrible. I didn't like beat them or anything like that. I never physically hurt them, but probably mentally because the way I was. But I just didn't know. I didn't know. Like you said, we leave the military and you're on your own. You don't get told any of this, especially when I left. There wasn't really masses of PTSD around. It was around, but it wasn't massive like it is now. Mental health wasn't a massive thing. So we got thrown out on our own. And like I said, I felt so sorry for them because I'd get drunk and I'd punch the doors off the hinges because someone gobbed off to me outside. And I'm not an angry man, mate. It's just I can get angry. I'm not a small bloke. I can handle myself. And let's say when you're a 5'0" lady, seeing a bloke punch a door off its hinges and it flies across the room, I mean, mentally for them, it must have been absolutely horrendous. Because I'd get up in the morning as if nothing had. I'd be like, oh, well, put the door back on, fix the door because I'm a chippy. Like, I just cracked on. But they're like, what the fuck? Is he going to flip? Is he going to do this? Do you know what I mean? To the point where I've got out of the car before and I've got someone by the neck through the window from road rage, and I thought this was normal because when I grew up in the military, this is the sort of things that your full screws sergeants used to do. Kick your doors in because you were late for work, blah blah blah. So I thought it was the norm, and I grew up with that as well. So my stepdad used to punch the doors off the hinges. So to me, it was normal. So I didn't know I was suffering from mental health because I thought it was normal. It's a norm. What's wrong? What's wrong with you?
It is. That's what I mean. Like, try to be careful what I'm saying. Like, but it's like, if I messed up in the military, I expected a kicking. Right? And I'm not saying you're gonna get kicked around the yard and that. You're definitely gonna get a little slap and told to wind your neck in and sort your life out and all the rest of it. And I kind of agree with it, and I agree with it because I think the caliber of blokes back in when we joined was decent. But now I remember one lad turned up late for one of my parades in my last unit, and all I said was, "Time to call this." Started crying.
Yeah, mate, don't.
Like,
I mean, look, I'm doing it now. I went, oh, mate, don't, because now I've gone back to my old me.
Yeah.
So obviously, seeing you, I've gone back to my old me as the corporal. The man up. Jeez, you know what I mean? But that's not me anymore. But I've just reverted. That's how easy it is to revert back to your old self. And it
is massively easy, mate. And it's learning. Like, we had a really good conversation yesterday, and I was telling you about, like, you were on about road rage and stuff like that, mate. I drive a fuel tanker. I live on them roads, right? The things I see is shocking, right? But I've learned to, obviously I'm in a professional occupation. I've got my truck plastered with logos. I'm wearing shirts and all that. So you've got to be professional, which I totally am, right? But there is times, right? Let's put me in my van, my own car, right? There is times you're like, I've learned to say to myself, look, it's in the past. There's no harm done. There's no damage. He's going to go that way. I'm going that way, and I will never ever see them again. So calm your tits. And that it is difficult, but I'm like I say, I really believe in this whole philosophy of retraining your brain, and only you can do it. Yeah, you can have help to do it. You can read, you can go see therapists and stuff like that, but ultimately it's up to you to retrain your brain and retrain your way of thinking. And it's working for me, mate. I'm such a calmer bloke now. Also, obviously, well, I will in future videos and podcasts, I'll talk about my mother and what's happened there and stuff. But it's I get a weird spot on my leg, and I think I'm dying, and I'll flap about it, and I drive my family crazy with it, and I've learned now to stop. But I go absolutely like, oh my God, what's that? Why is that there? Oh, I'm going to the doctors and get blood tests, and I drive everybody up the wall. But that was only 4 or 5 months ago, mate. I've stopped now, and my life at the minute, mate, is so good, and I don't mind broadcasting that. I'm not saying to people on the group and stuff like that, oh, check me out, my life's brilliant. It's not like that. I mean, this is how I've got to where I am, and it's not because I've got money, I've got anything else. It's how I'm starting to recalibrate and retrain my brain.
Yeah, money, everything is nothing, mate. That's just a materialistic piece of bollocks. Yeah. What it is, it's what you've got in your head and what you've got next to you. So your missus, your kids, as long as they're happy, healthy, you're healthy in your mind and healthy. Money's bollocks, mate. It's just, that's just a byproduct of happiness. It's just it's nothing else. It can't help you.
Mate, no matter how much you chase the money, how much more money you make, you're always going to spend it. You know, it's one of them.
It's for example, right? So I'm happy to openly talk about this. So basically, I had everything. I've still got everything. So I had the money, I got the job, the lifestyle, I got the house, I had the car, we had the holidays. So I mean, it was going on holidays to Vietnam, business class. And we didn't care. So basically, we didn't care. So it cost $3,000 each or whatever, $4,000 each. We didn't care. But mentally, so on the exterior, I was happy, like, yeah, look at this, look what I've got. Blah, blah, blah. But inside, I was fighting a battle, which I didn't know I was fighting. And I did try and commit suicide. Tried it twice now. And as I say, I'm openly about it. I'd rather talk about it rather than bottling it in. In fact, one of the times is on this rail here. It snapped. But it snapped. So it wasn't my time. But yeah, so... But again, now I've got my head in the right space. Again, nothing. Money can't help you. No. Your workmates, they can help, but they're not your therapists. You know what I mean? They're not there to. I mean, they are in a certain way. They can help, but only, like you said, only you can help you. So we talked about it the other day where I suffer from blackouts, and due to my mental health, and I had a blackout on one night, which was a turning point for me, where I smashed a car up. Don't remember doing it. It was a black tie event. And I woke up out of it about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, covered in blood. The host of the evening was covered in blood, shouting at me. And I just instantly broke down crying. I thought I'd killed someone. And that's not right, mate. So that's when my missus turned around and said, and this is rightly so. Again, everyone hits their limits. And she went, sort it out or I'm leaving. Or you can leave, you can go. Even though I haven't put any physical abuse to her, but it's just mentally abuse. So she can't deal with me doing that. Which then on the flip side, I can't deal with me doing that. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose, you know what I mean? The best partner I could ever ask for, the house, everything. So that's what turned me around to getting help. And it's probably the best thing Sarah ever did for me was say, sort yourself out or I'm leaving you. Yeah. Because that gave me the inner strength to realize, hang on a minute, if she's saying that, there's something wrong. There's something not right here. It's not the norm to be smashing things up, to be doing this. So, yeah.
So what did you do then? What did you do about it? So she said that. What did you immediately do? Would you therapist?
No. So immediately, so on this first occasion, I went to the GP. It's so easy. So anyone listening to now who's seeing some sort of what am I thinking of? If someone could see themselves in this conversation, what I'm having now, where they're having anger, blah, 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 blah. If they can see themselves, it's the first thing you need to do is go to the GP. As soon as you go into that GP, you'll feel a bit of a weight lifted off your shoulders because you've made that first step. You've accepted something is wrong, something's not right. You've accepted that, and that's the first stage, go to your GP. Now, luckily for me, which I think it's right in a way, being ex-military, there we get to get seen first. We get priority. I didn't know if you knew that, mate, but if you're military,
I've heard, especially when did you get diagnosed with PTSD then, before or after?
No, it was after. So basically,
right.
I didn't know I had it, mate. So basically, a bit of backstory on me, where I joined the military, like I said, to get away from home life, blah 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 blah. So military was my family. So I love it. I love it. Like I say, cut me in half, mate. I've got Royal Engineers going like a stick of rock. So you take me out of that situation, and now I've got nothing. I'm like, well, hang on a minute. Where was I going with this? Oh, right, yeah. So
I do that all the time.
Oh, mate, I've got so much going on in my mind now. What did you say to me? You went
PTSD before or after you went to the first GP?
After, so it's basically, so I just didn't know I had it basically, and so it was that doctor. So I went to the doctor, and he was brilliant. He luckily, mate, I can't remember where he's from. Is he Nigerian? I can't remember, but he has a brother who's ex-military from his country, and he was like, right, blah, 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 we need to get you sorted. They put me on citralopram straight away, because obviously there's suicidal thoughts. There's been many times leading up to that, but there's a couple of times which I actually tried it, and there's a couple of times which I was like, am I not? Probably a call for help, but I just didn't know at the time that it was. So basically, they put me on citralopram and got me into therapy straight away. So we got bumped up to the top of I got bumped up to the top of the list, literally, where people have to wait sometimes 6 months to see someone. Yeah. They got me in 2 weeks, bang, and they got me in. And I went in there with an attitude. And again, if anyone's listening to this who can relate to my situation, I was quite a manly man. Again, brought up in the military where, fucking man up. You know what I mean? So I went into therapy, even though I knew something was wrong, but I'd ultimately gone there for my missus, and I went in there with an attitude with, like, go on then.
Yeah.
Go on. Whatever. Yeah. And they went, so why are you here? I went, well, you tell me. And I'm quite embarrassed. I'm quite embarrassed to say it, mate, to be honest, because I was like, you tell me why I'm here. I don't know. I've been told to come here. By the end of the hour, I was shaking the guy's hand, and I went, I'll be here again next week.
Perfect.
And I went there for an intense, I think it was 12 weeks, intense. And then he signed me off. And then he said to me, I'm going to let you now know. Now I'm signing you off. I'm happy for you to go back into the world and just keep taking your meds, but whatever. You seem like being. My mindset was totally changed. He completely changed the way I look at things. And he said, right, I'll let you know now. I'm ex-military. I'm ex-Navy. I'm ex-Navy officer. And I was like, all right. I said, why didn't you tell me that before? He goes, because I didn't want that connection between me and you. I didn't want you to feel relaxed straight away going, military, geezer. Let's talk about, let's spin some bits about military time. So it wasn't. So, but again, it doesn't work for everybody. I actually had another relapse about 2 years after that. And I went back, and this is nothing to do with her being a female and she was pregnant. I'm pretty scared of pregnant women. I don't really like them. Mate, scared the shit out of me. I don't know why. It's just like something living inside you just doesn't suit me at all. I'm like, this isn't right. Yeah. So anyway, it's nothing to do with that. It's just that her techniques of doing things. So again, anyone listening here and they're scared to go to therapy, and if they go to therapy for the first time and they don't get on with that therapist, don't just sack it off. Because I did that. I chinned her off and I went, look, It's not. Well, I just didn't turn up anymore. So I went from there. Well, I went from there to went because I thought, well, therapy's not working for me anymore. I'm fucked. That's me. I'm done. It's not working for me this time. It worked for me for the last 2 years. Now it's not working. So, and then I started to go into a hole. But if I just said to them, you're not working for me as a therapist, have you got anyone else? They'd have given me someone else, maybe even the other guy that I was speaking to last time. They didn't want to, because then you obviously get that bond with them. You need to be. So that's what I'd relate to. Well, I'd say to everyone out there: if you don't find a therapist, if you go to therapy and you don't find a therapist for you, just tell them, and they'll give you somebody else. And I'm gutted that I didn't do that, because it took me a long time to get back up again.
Back up. It's a couple of. I mean, all the books I listen to, that's mentioned quite a lot. That people go for therapy. It fails in their head. There's no connection. I'm just not connecting with this person, and they sack it off, and that's it. They don't go back. Whereas the people that are get to recovery faster are the people that, no, exactly what you just said. They look for that person they can almost bond with, and it works. There's that connection, and it works. There's a few books I've read about that now, mate.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened to me. And it doesn't need to be a therapist. It just needs to be someone who's a good listener.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got the basic techniques, so even if you looked up, there's an app, there's a CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy app, and you can go on there, have a look at the techniques they show you. So what I put on the other day about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 things you can see, that is a CBT therapy. Also the breathing. Breathe in for 4, hold for 5, breathe out for 6. And it just brings your whole body back into line. So you focus, because you're 5, 4, 3, you're focusing on things, not thinking about the demons in your head. And then the breathing is, it just brings yourself back in focus. But as long as you've got that little basic things, then just get someone who's willing to talk to you. So if you don't want to see a therapist, get someone who's willing to talk. Come on this mental health group. Put it out there. Can anyone have a chat with me? And I'm sure I certainly would.
That's what I'm loving about the group, mate. It's really, really, like me and Tony have said in previous conversations, mate, of how heartwarming it is. And this is where, like, because you were a bit of a lad, I was a bit of a lad back in the day, and having this conversation with you now is totally, from the 15 years we've not seen each other, is totally out of character. If you had to get Hendo and Ohso at this present time now and put us in a conversation in a room with Hendo and Ohso back in 2004 or 5, I think the 2004 5 Hendo and Ohso would drop us, mate, to be honest. They would walk out. They would be like, what you on about? He's weak or on all this bit.
Mate, we'd walk in and I'd be naked hanging off the light fitting.
And I'd be cowering in a corner going, what's he doing? What's he gonna do? But no, it is the more, when you grow up, mate, and you start realizing all these thoughts and things, these are all real things. And like the group, I've said it and I'll keep repeating it, mate. It's purely, I want to throw mental health down people's throats until they're sick of me hearing about it on my own personal Facebook. I want people to go, do you know what, Endo, do my head in. I'm just deleting you. I want to throw it out there so much that it's just so openly, commonly talked about that anybody can just, I want that day that somebody goes, I'm not feeling too good, I haven't for a while, right, yeah, I need to talk, and just do it without all this, the taboo behind it, the whole, oh God, I can't be seen as weak, or that's not man, or that's not woman, and that's what I'm trying to get rid of, like stigma.
Especially the older generation. I mean, the younger generation now they're getting brought up with it. But like I said to you in a conversation yesterday, I think it was, I said it's always been around. It's always been around. Even in our grandparents' days, it's always been around, but it wasn't recognised. It was, again, man up, even to the World War, mate, where they used to get shot for cowardice. It wasn't. It was PTSD. It was shell shock, but used to get shot for cowardice because you're not going to go over that hill. So it's always been around, even since the First World War.
Yeah.
Where your mind can only go so far. And I think I said this to you the other day about a bucket. Just imagine a bucket under a dripping tap. It's going in. So your family life, money troubles, this, that, all these little drips go into your bucket, and eventually that bucket's going to overfill. And this is where I used to have my blackouts. And because again, the doctor said it to me, it's like your mind's like a computer where you keep using your iPhone or your computer, and eventually it just won't work anymore because you need to reboot it. So you need to turn it off and turn it back on again. And that's what I used to do with my blackouts, and my head used to totally switch off. And my missus used to describe me as, she could have done this, and I wasn't looking, but I was aggressive. I was aggressive with it. So you need to have that way of rebooting your head without having that bucket full. So what you need to do is get to half full and having that work to family life, or even if you need to get away from your family because your family's doing your head in, you need to talk to your family and say, look, guys, I love you all to bits, but I need to go away just to recalibrate, like you said, myself. So I need to go away, just go camping, grab a tent, bang. Yeah. As long as you're okay with that and you're not going to stop yourself when you're going away because you've had enough. So that's why you wait till it's half full. So then now your bucket, so basically you're putting a hole in your bucket, which is going to come down, and then let it fill up again, let it go back down. Don't let it go over the top.
Yeah. It's you learn to love yourself, learn who you are and what you're about, and learn when things are getting too much in personal life, in your professional life. Just learn to love yourself, and then you'll be able to go, wait there, right? Yeah, this bucket's getting half full now. Right, time out, I'm off. Exactly. I do it quite often. I'm just like, right, I'm off. I'm taking the van, going camping, see you in a bit. And then people can say, well, I don't have that luxury of a van, and get a £10 tent out of Aldi. There's answers to everything.
Or, like you said, mate, just go on the group. Anyone fancy, like you said with Daz, do you fancy, like, anyone fancy going camping? I've not got a tent. Anyone got a spare tent and want to come away for a weekend? Bang. Yeah. Get some beers, tent, middle of Wales, like you guys did, mate. It's like, campfire.
And there's no planning involved either. I mean, I've been, obviously I want the group to grow and I want it to be unique and all the rest of it. And I've had little thoughts about having little, you're probably going to say calm down, Endo, but like little camp trips, little mini festival things, and it's not going to be this whole banners of like mental health group, and not going to broadcast any of that kind of stuff. Just a bunch of strangers getting together, a bit of music, get a campfire on the go, and just none of this kumbaya stuff around the fire and that. Just a few pints and
this thing's happened all the time. Little festivals happen all the time. Yeah. Where people don't know each other, they just put a little post on Facebook. So this being a little community of mental health people, everyone in the same sort of mind, I'm on board with that, mate. Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, 100%. Right, mate. I think we'll leave it there. But yeah, thanks very much, mate. And generally, right, without you looking at me all weird, right? Thanks very much for opening up there, mate. That's proper help people out. You know what I mean?
I'm glad we're going as well, mate, because it's like 25 degrees
I
outside.
know, mate. That's what I'm.
Absolutely red is wrong choice. Wrong choice of t-shirt. Big thick polo.
Hey, at least you're not going to smash out a 12-hour shift, mate. You know what I mean?
Well, I am in the pool.
Cool. Right, happy days, Ohso. Thanks very much for mate. And
it's all right, mate.
Catch up.
Great catch up. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, mate.